Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and today we're working on a 2014 Chevrolet Sonic with the 1.8 liter engine. And today the customer, they have requested that they wanted to replace the rear shocks. They provided me all of the parts. They are replacing it with the KYB Shocks for this vehicle. The customer's complaint today is that the rear suspension is making a clunking and banging noises as you go over bumps. And so they did their own diagnostic, and so they just wanted me to replace the rear shocks for them. So the customer, they purchased some stuff online, KYB Shocks, and some stuff from the dealership, I think, the GM genuine stuff, the dust cover for the shocks, a new bolt, the mounting bolt, and a new shock mount. These are made out of aluminum. Now, I used to work at the GM dealership several years ago. I haven't seen one of these go bad yet, but it's always a good idea to replace these aluminum shock mounts because they corrode over time. So it's just a good idea to replace them at the same time when you do the rear shocks. So now, earlier when the customer dropped off this vehicle to me, he showed me that it was making a lot of noise by shaking and rocking the vehicle back and forth, but I'm not able to duplicate it now because I just moved the vehicle. I backed it up. So as you are rocking the vehicle back and forth, you would be able to hear the noise, but for some reason it's not happening at this particular time. So, but anyhow, we are going to continue and replace the rear shocks now. So now I pull the rear wheels off, but you don't need to. You can do this job without taking off the wheels, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, so you guys can see everything. And so now there's a plastic shield here that needs to be taken off, but I don't think you need to remove everything because there are the two mounting bolts on top that we need to take out. So before we start, we will need to support the rear suspension, in this case the coil spring. So you can use a jack or a bottle jack of some sort, and maybe a block of wood if you want. So we are just going to place the block of wood over here somewhere and support the rear suspension. I'm just using a bottle jack because I don't want to take up too much room having the jack in the way. So just make sure that everything is firmly in place and so that it doesn't slip or anything. I'm using a bottle jack that's made in Japan. I advise you to not use those cheap Chinese bottle jacks because I've had problems with those, and they often leak after a few times of usage. So if you decide to use a bottle jack, either use a good quality one or one that's made in Japan. I'm using the Jet brand bottle jack. This one is 12.5 tons. The part number is 140106. So I may have forgotten earlier, we are going to be doing the left rear. I'm just going to be showing the left rear because the other side is going to be the same thing. So anyhow, there's a piece of plastic here. It's a 10 millimeters, so we are going to be taking that off. It looks like it's just a piece of plastic. So I think we may be able to remove the two nuts, the mounting bolts or nuts, and not remove the entire splash shield out of the way, because it may be a little bit of work. So I'm just going to try to squeeze in there and see if I'm able to get a socket inside there. So now we still need to remove a couple more clips, I believe. We are just going to remove the bare minimum so we're able to get to the mounting bolt. So this is a 10 millimeter on this side. And now you'll need to use a trim tool of some sort. So now you should be able to access these bolts. It's a 15 millimeter. They're not on all that tight. So when you tighten these back, you don't need to tighten them that much, or you can torque them to spec. And on the other side, that's the one, and then the other one here. Now, if you guys want to organize the nuts and bolts and stuff, I'm just using a silicone piece, muffin tray, just to make things easier. So now, just make sure that the suspension is still properly supported before you remove the mounting bolt for the shock. So this is an 18 millimeter. And this is just going to fall down. So this is the old shock. You can see it's very worn out, because as I push down on this earlier, as I push down on it, it goes up immediately. So that means it's worn out. So this customer provided me with all of the necessary parts. So we are going to be transferring the new parts over to the new shock and everything. I don't think we are reusing anything from this. So the only thing to make note of is that on the GM genuine shock mount, they are labeled for left hand and right hands. So make sure that you are using the correct one for the correct side. Here it says L for left. So make sure you're using the correct one for the correct side. I will post all of the part numbers in the description and comments section if you guys want to get the same parts. And the customer also provided a new bolt for the bottom shock mount bolt. So we're going to remove that, install the dust boot inside. And it came with the top mounting nut, so that when you install the shock mount, you tighten it up. So usually I like to use some grease here to prevent noise. You don't have to, but it's what I normally do when I'm doing struts and shocks and stuff like that. You can use any type of chassis grease or wheel bearing grease. It doesn't really matter. This will just make things easier, slide in easier and stuff. So you can just compare the old and the new part and make sure you just install it the same way it came out. This is going to go like this. This needs to be inside here. This needs to ride inside the mount. There's a torque spec for this. I'll see on what the torque spec is, but usually you can use an impact until this vibrates and stops, and then that's when you know on when to stop. So now we are going to tighten this up. It's a 15 mil. So I'm using a standard wrench. See if I can torque this. Now the issue here is I have a set of offset wrenches, which makes it easier to get inside here. It's the way the wrench is designed. It's like a kind of like a 60-degree angle or something that helps you to get inside here. I'm not sure on where it is, so I can't show that. So somehow I have to hold this down and to tighten it up to spec. So it's best to use a set of offset wrenches. The wrench is designed in such a way that you can get deep inside here. Because I'm not able to get the wrench completely over the nut. So usually most guys just tighten it up with an impact, and then you're good usually. But I'm going to try to see if I can torque this down. So if for any reason you're not able to torque it down all the way, you can just use impact and just give it a a light press of the trigger, and then that should be fine until the mount stops. You see that the mount shakes, so that's how you know it's tight and this is not moving. So now we are going to be ready to install this. I'm just going to put a little bit of grease inside here and some grease on the bolts after. So what we are going to do is to line this up in here and to line up the bottom part and install the bottom mounting bolt first. So now just line up the bottom part of the shock and the new bolt. Just thread in the bolt a little bit. Don't tighten up anything yet because we still need to install the top two mounting bolts. So now we need to line this up to get the bolts in. You may need to push down on the assembly to move it so you're able to line the bolts into the mounting holes. And if you need to, you may need to adjust the suspension, either to lower or to raise the suspension so you can get the bolts in. So I lowered the suspension a bit, so now I think I may need to raise it up, and we will see. So we are going to tighten this up a little bit. And we are going to torque it. So we are going to tighten to 74 foot-pounds. I was trying to use the electronic 3/8 drive ratchet, but it's too small for something that's like this. So I'm not able to put too much effort because it is very difficult. So I'm just using my regular half drive torque wrench that I use to torque wheels and stuff. So torque it to 74, and then it said to torque to 90 degrees after, only if you're using a new bolt. They say you're supposed to be replacing these bolts. So the initial torque will be 74 foot-pounds, and if you want, you can use like a marker or a whiteout or some paint pen to mark it and turn it 90 degrees. So you can use a paint pen of some sort to mark it straight ahead like this. You can just turn it 90 degrees manually. Okay, that's good. So you mark it straight down and then turn it to 90 degrees and then you're good. The bottle jack was already off of this, so you can lower it now, and we are going to torque the top 2 bolts, and then that's going to be it. So now everything is all torqued. We can just reinstall the covers back and stuff, and then that's going to be it for this side. The other side is going to be the exact same thing, so I'm not going to show that, and that's going to be it. Everything is all torqued down now. So just reinstall the 10 millimeter nuts onto the studs. And on the other side as well. And reinstall the clip. And then that should be it. So after you're done, the torque specs for the wheels is 100 foot-pounds, and that's going to be it. Just make sure that you road test the vehicle and make sure that noise is gone, and that's it. So now this vehicle is all done. I'm just going to go for a road test now. I figured that after I finished the left rear, the right rear was completely butter. It was all butter. I got everything done within like 15 minutes after I spent a bit more time on this. This whole job, it shouldn't take any more than like maybe 1 hour tops. But if you are well equipped, it shouldn't take any more than an hour maybe. I think the book time on this is 1.3 or 1.5 hours. The warranty, I believe, is 0.9 hours for warranty time on this. And so yeah, the right rear, it was very easy. I was able to get everything done in and out. It was just that because after you do the one side, you already know on what to do for the other side. So when you do the other side, you get that done a lot faster. So when I started the video, it's been a while since I've worked on these cars for the rear shocks. I've done a few maybe at the dealership in the past, but it's been a while. It's not a difficult job really. It's a very easy, straightforward gravy job. So earlier I was using the electronic torque wrench, and I didn't really like using it. It's a 3/8 torque wrench. It's not very good for suspension stuff. It's only good for like engine stuff and things like that for the most part. So I didn't really like the feel. So I went back to using my half drive standard torque wrench instead, because I felt that was easier to torque the suspension bolts. The suspension bolts require more torque than other sensitive engine components, so it's going to be a lot harder using a 3/8 drive torque wrench. So I just used the half drive instead. So I finished the left rear I still have to do the right rear, but I'm not going to show that because it's the same exact thing. So that's going to conclude this video for replacing the rear shocks on this 2014 Chevrolet Sonic. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and please don't forget to hit that bell notification if you haven't done so. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.